So here we are at the home page, and there's a couple of things that I want to show you how to do before we start doing some of the fun stuff. I don't want you to start adding customers and vendors or even bank accounts. We will get to that, but there's some housekeeping we have to do here that's much more important, and it's going to be a little bit boring, but let me show you what we're going to do. We have, under transactions, and if I come to the chart of accounts right here, we have a lot of income accounts and even cost of goods sold accounts that I don't necessarily want. I'm not going to use all of these different income accounts. And if you think you will, by all means leave them. But they have a tendency to later kind of clutter up your accounting, because when you are trying to decide, or even a staff person is trying to decide how to create a transaction, when they pull up the list of accounts, which is this chart of accounts here, all of these different things say income, and you know what they'll start doing, or you may even start doing, you'll start plugging them into different places. One sale or invoice will be to this, and one will be to this, and one will be to this. And what's the difference between gross receipts and sales of products? So you got to clean this thing up, I think. But before you can clean it up, there are some items. That's the name QuickBooks gives to things that we do in our business, selling things or consulting income, that kind of stuff. If we don't clean some of those out, it won't let me delete it. So here, I'll kind of show you what I mean. If I go to sales right here and I try and delete this account, it will say you cannot delete this because it's used by a product or a service, and it's connected to one of these items. So we're going to get rid of some items first. So to do that, we come up here under this gear, and I'm going to click here, and then under lists, I'm going to come here to products and services. In here, I have several different products and services that I don't really want to use. I know that I'm going to use sales. This is what I'm going to book all of my sales to right here, so I'm going to keep this. And sales tax, if you use sales tax, if you're going to charge sales tax, then you want to leave that. But if you don't have something that's you're going to differentiate between sales and service, get rid of some of these items. So I'm going to delete this, and see, now services is gone. I don't need shipping. I'm not going to make money off shipping income or training income or travel income. My business isn't going to do any of that. So we just sell software, so I'm just going to have sales. And so I'm going to get rid of some of this. Bear with me while I delete some of these guys out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the chart of accounts, and we're going to start cleaning that up a little bit. So now I've cleaned that. I've got the sales tax I'm leaving there. Even though we don't charge sales tax, I'm going to leave that there for now. I'm going to come back to transactions. Remember, we're doing all of this before you've even set up a customer, or a client, or a payable, or a bank account. Get this chart of accounts cleaned up. So I come back down here to the income side, and now under discounts given, watch what I can do. I can come in here and I can hit delete. Yep. I want that gone. And I'm going to delete all of these income items. Let me, I'll pause the video here while I take care of this, and then come back as soon as I'm done. You guys don't want to watch this. Okay, so we're back, and now you can see I just have one income account. And that's good. That's good for me, because I just need one income account. Now, later on, if you decide that you need multiple income accounts, you can come right back in here and set up new income accounts. That's not a difficult thing to do. But for now, my advice is get it down to one. I also have several of these cost of goods sold accounts, and I don't need all of these. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to start deleting those as well. Getting rid of some of these cost of goods sold items is important, certainly if I'm not going to use any of them. I'll pause here again and come back once I've done cleaning up all of that. I'm back. As you can see, I just have one cost of goods sold account now. I've decided to leave supplies and materials just in case I need that one there. You might be asking yourself, why does Intuit put all of this stuff in here if I've just got to come in here and delete it? Well, they're trying to make sure that everything you need is pre-populated. One of the big problems with accounting software over the last 20 years is that a lot of times the software did not populate the chart of accounts, and it was that much more difficult to try and get started doing your own bookkeeping. Accountants, as a CPA, I can tell you this kind of stuff where there's just accounts everywhere is kind of a real thorn in our side, because we've got to come in here later and clean this up for clients, and clients have to pay us to do that when really it's kind of a waste of time and money. So coming in here and doing this now is a good thing. Below all of that is our expenses. Now, I don't want you going in here and deleting anything too quick. You'll need to look at each of these and decide if this expense is something that you spend money on. So, for instance, a good one that I can right away see that I don't need is disposal fees. I will never have an expense called disposal fees, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm not going to go through and delete a whole bunch here, but definitely go through each of these line items and decide if this is an account that you will use, that you plan to spend money on in your business. If you don't use freight and delivery, then don't have it in here. If you don't pay anyone commissions and fees, don't have it in here. Some of the stuff I definitely would leave is travel meals and entertainment is up here. There's certain things that you definitely know you're probably going to use. Other portfolio income, do I think I'm going to have that? No. I'm going to come in here and delete that. There's lots of accounts here that you probably don't need, and my advice is have as few as possible, but don't have so few that you're not properly allocating things out. Don't have one expense account just called expenses and you load everything in there. You need to break it down by what it is, but don't have a lot of things that you don't use. And if you're afraid to delete things right now, that's okay. Don't delete them. But later on, maybe in a year, if you come back here and you see that you've never used any of these accounts, just get rid of them then. If you start putting things into accounts, you can't get rid of them. But if you never use an account, go ahead and delete those.